I did want to show you guys, as it is getting darker now, my Hello Kitty that I got. Well, Damon got him for me, and David put him up for me, or her, I mean. So, isn't she cute? She's a little witch. I love her. And all of my yard stakes are actually lit. That makes me happy. Alright, I just wanted to include this. And if you're wondering why the heck she's in the middle of the walkway, that is partially because the walkway is not going to be finished till next year, and partially because she's only got the lines out to the side, so David just tied her between. I noticed that she's got little things to put stakes in the ground, but she's already up, so I don't mind her being there. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to day 28 of Vlogtober. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Appreciate everybody who watches, likes, comments, all that good stuff. I love the interaction. Just thought I'd say that from the beginning. Day 28. Happy Friday. What else? I'm anxious to I'm going to start, just so you know, in a second with creepy story time, because I don't want to forget the creepy story that I have. I have no notes. I'm going to be doing this all from memory that I just heard, etc. So I don't want to mess it up. So actually, why don't I start with it right now, since I just built it up so well. I'm going to start, like I said, with creepy story time. This isn't well, it could be a true story. This is a urban legend that I had just heard. So I was like, I'm going to tell everybody this tonight, just because it is like creepy, but it's also very like quintessential urban legend. It's the kind of thing like that you would have around a campfire, or, you know, with flashlights with your friends in the dark, or just a cool story, right? That very well could be true. We don't know. So this is a story about a girl who we shall call Claire. No reason at all, just Claire came to mind. So this girl, Claire, was in high school, and she and her friends were talking about their plans for Halloween night, when a guy she liked, we'll call him John, John came up to the group and was telling them about a local farm that had its own graveyard. And on this graveyard was said to be members of the family who were not fit to bury in like consecrated ground, so they were buried at this farm. They were evil guys, evil women. They were basically not good people. There were serial killers, murderers, and that kind of thing buried there. And it was said that every Halloween night, their ghosts roamed the graveyard that was on this farm. So, with the farm being abandoned for a few years now, they knew it was safe to do, and John suggested that the group go out and go through the cornfields and make their way out to this secluded little cemetery and see if they could find any malevolent spirits, any ghosts, any evil doing supernatural. So Claire decides that she's going to go with them because she wants to spend Halloween with John. And the group gets in their cars and they drive out to this farm on Halloween night. So they're all standing there, and they realize that all of them are scared and don't actually want to be the first ones to go into the cornfield, and especially in the dark, and find this grave, the cemetery. And so finally, another girl who actually was there because she liked John, her name was Mary. Mary dared Claire to go in and show everybody how it's done. Find the grave, find the graveyard and everything. And Claire was scared also, like she didn't want to go. But John seemed to think that was a great idea, and she really wanted to impress John. So right before she set off into the cornfield, Mary said, "How are we going to know that you're even there? You can tell us that you're there, and what if you just like go into the corn and come back later saying that you were there?" So John said, "I have an idea." And he whips out his pocket knife and he says, "Take this knife and stick it in the ground when you get there and leave it there." He said, "Nobody's got a knife like this. This is my knife. And in the morning, we'll know if you were there, if you're telling the truth, because it'll be sticking out of the ground." And so Claire agreed. And after a little bit of getting her courage up again, she took the knife and she went and started through the corn. Now, it was a stormy night, so there was not a lot of light. When the clouds broke, there'd be a little cascade of this ghostly moonlight coming through, and it was just enough to make the corn shadowed. And she thought she heard noises with the breeze in the corn and everything. It had her really on edge and scared. And so she's picking her way very carefully, and she can hear the others talking, back in the back, doubting that she's going to make it, and wondering themselves if there's any ghosts roaming the area. And she's getting more scared the further away she gets. And she does finally make it into this clearing. And at the clearing, she sees a few tombstones. So she knows this has got to be the graveyard. Now she's still hearing the rustling in the corn and all the sounds of the night, of course, and she's terrified. So she wants to hurry up and get this moving, So she goes over to the closest grave. She takes the knife out and she stabs it into the ground. And she turns to leave, like she wants to make a quick break. Out of the corner of her eye, she sees a figure like reaching towards her. So she panics and she tries to run, but she finds that she's being held in place. She doesn't know why. She can't figure out if there's a rising skeleton hand coming for her, or if somebody from the shadows has reached out to grab her, or if the monster caught up or had other monster friends that were going to aid them in her staying. And so she starts panicking. She starts freaking out. She can barely breathe. She's crying. She's just absolute terror is running through Claire's mind. And that's how that's the end of what we know of what's going on with Claire. So her friends are waiting and waiting back at the field or back at the edge of the field, sorry. And they hear her starting to scream, and just finally they hear this blood-curdling scream, and they know that's got to be Claire. And so Mary looks at the group and she says, "I'm not staying here. I'm out of here." So the rest of them decide to go ahead and abandon poor Claire out in the woods, out in the corn, and they all get in the cars and they leave. So the next morning, which is November 1st then, the kids all go to class and they notice that Claire's not there. And there starts to be, of course, rumors. What happened to Claire? Where is she at? Some of the kids say, we heard she was going out to this graveyard, this haunted graveyard, and maybe something got her. And, nobody wanted to fess up to being there, of course, but plenty of rumors had started at the school. Well, eventually, the kids decided that, we better go out after school or whatever and go find out, like, did she make it there, or is she still out in the corn somewhere? Like, what happened to her? So they all go, and while it's still daylight out, because they're scared, and they make it out there, and they find Claire's dead body. They look around, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else there. They do notice one of the graves that is nearby has like the angel figure that's got the arms outstretched. And they notice even during the day that the corn sounds pretty creepy with the wind whistling through it and everything in the dead leaves of the corn. And when they realize that they are alone, that nobody's, coming to sneak up on them also, they start examining what happened to Claire. And they discover John's knife in the ground. Claire had plunged John's knife deep into the ground and turned to take off, not realizing that it had pinned her dress to the ground. So that is actually what was holding her in place. Because she was so scared, she had the beginnings of a panic attack. She saw what was likely the angel reaching for her and thought that it was a killer coming to get her based on their suspicions for the night. And they noticed that her head had been split. And the kids thought for sure that must be foul play. But it turns out she had just hit her head on another tombstone as she fell in her panic and her attempts to get away. And so Claire actually did herself in. Yeah. I know that's not the exact, kind of creepy story that I've been telling, but it does fit, like I said, with more like the quintessential what have you learned kind of urban legends that are out there. And I really liked it. I thought it was entertaining, and I thought maybe you guys would like it too. So I know there's a lot of different versions of it that are out there. Not all like school kids in a graveyard on a farm, but people being dared to spend the night in cemeteries and bad things happening that weren't really as they appear. So yeah, just remember that on Halloween night. Keep your wits about you. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to go to a graveyard because that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the story time a little bit, and I'll get on with the rest of the video now. It's weird because usually I'm ending it there, right? We're just going to pick a monster ball, prize ball. I have 2 Halloweens left, so I'll open one of those. What do we have? We have, okay, I like this. I keep calling them stitch markers from the other ones that I got, but these are like zipper pulls, basically, that I plan to put on a project bag. I really like this one. Check him out. That is the Halloween pumpkin. So that's what I got today. I won't spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, so there it is. Also, the 31-day thing that I have are the Stranger Things topics, the Stranger Things theories that I read to you. Most of which are internet things, and some of which are like my own topics of discussion. Some of them on the internet are like predictions for season 5 or explanations for what's gone on from seasons 1 through 4, that kind of thing. And then I tell you if I have an opinion on it, or if it's one of my own, I'll tell you why I love it so much, or I'm really into that idea. And then I ask that you let me know your thoughts, my fellow Stranger Things nerds. Yeah, so let us pick one that is left. I think, let me see, I believe there's 2 that are mine, and 2 that are not mine. I am not prepared for that one yet because I have a lot to say about that one. So let's do one that's mine, and this will be probably a short one, because it's just kind of when you're watching something for I don't know, in my case, the 40th time or the 50th time. So a while ago, because I've seen Stranger Things a lot more since then. But I was sitting there watching season 2, and it kind of just a thought into my head, right? So how Will has had his I call it a spidey sense, but it's kind of his Vecna sense or whatever, and whenever he senses the mind flayer or apparently Vecna around, he gets that tingling at the back of his neck, and you always see him reach for it, right? Always see it. Usually the camera cuts to the back of his neck, and he's doing this number because he's getting goosebumps or whatever. His tingly is going on. And usually he announces, he's still here or whatever, right? So I have a theory that maybe Will's not the only one who has that sensation. Whether or not the other people know it is a different topic, but I don't think it's only Will. I think, and here's where the theory comes in, I think that Mr. Clark, the teacher from season 1 and 2, I think that Mr. Clark has had a run-in with Vecna or the Mind Flayer or the Upside Down in some way and has also been similarly affected. I have a reason. So, like I said, this is one of my own. I haven't seen anybody else like come to this conclusion. I've heard a lot of them about the counselor being involved, but as far as Mr. Clark, obviously there is no real, like the kids do, sorry, my eye is like bothering me. The kids are obviously go to him for help, but they kind of like disguise why they're asking, like, oh yeah, just, a fun Friday night, fun Saturday night. How do you do a sensory deprivation pool again? Just curious. Or like, oh yeah, it's Will's funeral, but can you explain interdimensional travel to us maybe in a scientific way? And like even Joyce, right? She goes to him at some point and she's like, oh yeah, so I've been having problems with these magnets. I mean, not so much on a small level, but could you explain to me like what big phenomena might have to happen that would crazily never happen in our world at this moment in time? But can you tell me like a maybe what if? Just curious. So first of all, I'm sure that he is suspect. Like, why are this particular group of people all asking me this crazy stuff? But happy to help, happy to talk science, nerdy stuff with anybody, I'm sure. Mr. Clark always obliges, right? That being said, the season 2, when Dustin had found Dart and he was still in his little tadpole form, and he had decided to show Mr. Clark because he couldn't figure out, like, is he a tadpole? Is he a salamander? Is he something else? Is he a snake? Is he, what is this creature that I found? And he was very adamant, like, I have something to show you, but you can't take any of the credit for it, is basically the way, he always presented it. Like, this is my find. Let's all remember that. And he was about to go show Mr. Clark when, was it, I think, Mike and Will? Because Will had confessed, like, I've seen something like Dart before, and then he told them about him coughing up the slug particle. And then he said, I can feel him, and he talks about his neck and everything. And so they like run into the classroom and he's just kidding. I'm sorry about all this, and then they grab him and take off and explain to Dustin why he can't tell people about the Upside Down or about Dart because he's potentially from the Upside Down. But when they run in and they say, like, sorry for the interruption, sorry, we got to take Dustin, it was just a joke, we're sorry, and they leave, Mr. Clark doesn't do the usual, like, as they leave, he doesn't even do, like an exaggerated head scratch, right? What does Mr. Clark do? Does anybody remember? Because I do, because this is when my epiphany hit. Mr. Clark did, like, he did turn to look at him like, what's going on? But he did this. Just like Will. So I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. That is when they realize, oh my gosh, Dart's part of the Upside Down. This thing is part of the Upside Down, blah, blah, blah. Dart was almost presented to Mr. Clark. Therefore, he was in the vicinity of Mr. Clark. So if Mr. Clark does have any like powers rubbed off on him from the Upside Down or from an encounter, even if he didn't realize he had the encounter, he would have that same spidey, tingly feeling because something unnatural in our world, something from the Upside Down has been in his presence, right? Kind of like when Will doesn't see the Mind Flayer or doesn't see Vecna, he still knows that he's around as opposed to back in the Upside Down or too far away. Like, he doesn't get those feelings in California, even when Vecna's running amok and going crazy in Hawkins, right? But it's proximity. It's because he gets closer. In season 4, he came to Hawkins with everybody in the Surfer Boy van. And that's immediately when he was like, again, right? So I think it's possible, and Mr. Clark may not be the only one, but I think it's possible that if they wanted to kind of like open it up to other people have been having encounters with Vecna or with, whatnot, and survived it the way that Will did, maybe that's how the tingly on the back of the neck thing happens, and Mr. Clark had it. I'm just saying, like, maybe it's possible, right? Season 3 was also when, like, Joyce was like, so let's talk about these crazy magnets of mine. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, hey, here's what's going on. Like, he didn't even bat an eye. And that would be something, in my opinion, that was more strange than the kids. Like, okay, the kids, yeah, it's kind of weird, but they are a group of nerdy kids who do genuinely enjoy science. Thus, their bond with him to begin with. So, like, maybe he might be like, why would Dustin Henderson be calling me on a Saturday night about sensory deprivation? Crazy kid. You know, I mean, you could see that at least. When a parent starts to do it, as adamantly as Joyce is, because this woman is animated. We all know this, you know, she's not just like, you know, I was curious. She's very animated about stuff. There's no concealing it. When that happens, you would think somebody as smart as Mr. Clark would be a lot more questioning. And he really wasn't. So is he accepting that there's something strange going on? I think it's possible. That's my defense for it. Do you guys think that could be possible? I'm just curious what you think. Please be kind, because it's my own theory and not just one I dragged off the internet. But I would love to see, like, champion of Hawkins, Mr. Scott Clark. Like, I think we talked about this last Christmas, but Scott Clark is like I'm a big fan. Like, I wish that character had, like, more time. I think he's amazing. He's definitely one of my absolute favorite side characters, especially now that Erica seems to be more of a main character. I love Mr. Clark. I think he's great. Him and Keith are, like, it for me. I love them side character wise. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave it up to you, but what do you guys think? That's all I'm saying. So I'm sorry. I know I keep rubbing on my eye really bad, but it's driving me crazy tonight. I don't know if it's just like my dry eye, which in that case I really shouldn't be sitting here rubbing it, but I did put drops in it just before I came in here to record, and now all of a sudden it's still like, touch me. I'll stop. I think whatever foreignness felt like it was in my eye is possibly gone. Like that last, got it pretty good. Anyway, you guys do not care about that. Sorry. So also, I have 2 things to open up that are part of a 13-day like countdown to Halloween. And we have 4 left. So we'll have 3 after today, but 4 left as of right now without opening anything. And the first thing is a gift exchange that I am doing with Courtney from Fiberfox Studios. Hello, Courtney. Courtney, who, like I said, go and wish her well on her videos, because that poor thing has had the worst. Her voice is just gone right now. Gone. So if she has missed a video, she'll make it up the next day. Like, she had to do that once already. She's going to do it again tomorrow or today. As you may be seeing this, she'll have like a double feature of presents that I got for her, as long as she's feeling up to it. But I told her, I was like, go ahead and extend it into November. Like, November's not November anymore. It's 2nd October. So like, if it has to happen, go for it. If people are interested in what I got for her, you guys will watch no matter whether it's 1st October or 2nd October, right? So I noticed a lot of you guys were on board too with the whole 2nd October thing. Which, yeah, I'd rather celebrate Halloween than pretty much anything else. So like, why not have a second one? And there's 31 days in the month previously known as November. So like, we don't even have to add in an extra day or anything. Just a thought. Anyway, we're on day 10. I think, is this Elle with her hair back? It's hard to tell when they're faceless. But she has done, she's gotten the stickers that have like the faceless versions of the people. Most of them have. Some of them, like, it said like Stranger Things 4 for season 4, and that's what she used for day 4's gift tag. But most of them are like this, and then she's numbered the faces, which I think is so cool. I love it. I had thought it was like at a grab, I thought this was Jonathan, but I kind of think it's Elle with her hair back now. I'm not positive, I suppose, but anyway. That is the tag for today in this pretty purple paper. And like I said, if you want to see what I got her, head over to her channel. She has done almost all of them. She's just a day behind at this point because she doesn't feel good. So I am going to open said package and try to not be crinkly here. I was wrong. My dry eye stuff is not gone. Anyway. What? What? Sorry, the paper was like really thick there and I was like, is there something else in here? No, that doesn't matter because, okay, here's first view. Can you guys guess what this is? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's get this bag opened up. Out of the bag, folded up view. Are you ready? You've guessed by now. Oh, Hawkins High School shirt. Oh my God. You're just trying to get me to wear more color than black, aren't you, girl? I say as I'm in a blue shirt, but this is not normal. This is very not normal, but you know what? I don't care. It's Hawkins High School, baby. I'm going to be wearing this. Oh my God. I love this so much. Go Tigers. I think I love this high school more than my own high school. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you. I'm so excited. Well, oh my God. I'm still excited. I got amazingly pinker too, didn't I? Yeah, make sure you go check Courtney out. And I can tell you right now, her day 9 and 10 gifts together are not as cool as this, but I tried. So excited. Okay. If I don't move on, we're going to end up having to cut the video and come back. So I'm going to move on. But thank you again, Courtney. I love you so much. Thank you. And I love this. Oh, thank you. All right. So last thing that I have, which is weird doing it last, is today's advent calendar. It is in a Stranger Things theme. Was it yesterday's? I was very perplexed by. This one was yesterday's, but I had talked about it maybe being some sort of a Scoops Ahoy theme, and it was a bit odd to me because there's no real red in it. There was a little tiny bit of red down here. But several of you guys said this, and I do like it. As you thought of Steve when he was beaten up because he was in his like dirty torn uniform. There is some brown and some black speckles in here. He did have white and blue predominantly in his uniform and with just a little tiny splash of red and or his poor face when he got roughed up. Poor Steve. So like a beaten up Steve is a really good guess for this third blue one that we have in here. I like that a lot. And if you if you haven't joined in, the person that I got this from is not, she does so many, she's linked below. Please go check her shop out. Beautiful yarn. She has done so many different like yarn clubs, advent calendars for Halloween, advent calendars for Christmas. She's already got some listed for next year already. She does a lot of stuff. So she was saying that she does so many right now that she's not naming the yarn for the first year ever, or even showing like inspiration pictures behind it or whatever. So that drives me mad. Like, not anything against her. I'm saying like my brain, like maybe it's fine and all. It is fine. But my brain, I'm like, no, I want to know what yarn this is. Like, what is the name? What colorway is it? I want to know. So I plan to, like right now they're all in their bags. This one's day 9. Or this way as the sticker was. But anyway, day 9. I plan to get put little tags on them with the number for the day and with whatever name we decide for these yarns. And I think on Halloween, I am going to bring them all out. If not here on Facebook, maybe both, but bring them all out so we can talk about names. But I think some version of Beaten Up Steve is probably a really good inspiration for this. I love it. So currently, I'm going to go with that and try to think of like a clever, like super clever actual like namey name for it. Namey name. because I'm 5. But that was yesterday's yarn. So today, day 10's yarn. Let us find out. So that means if that's Steve, unless one of the other ones has really stricken somebody as so, we haven't not had a hopper one. We've had a Conchaco one, but not a hopper himself one. Here is today's. Didn't see a good look. I don't think I've unfolded it very well, so I guess nobody got a really good look. Here is, this one is just, it's like a gray. It is streaked with brown. It's pretty similar to the day that I pulled it out and said, this has to be the Demogorgon. This one's pretty similar, except there's more, it's like more of a browny red than it is red. I can put it up here to show you close up, but it does wash it out just a little bit. So you can take that with a grain of salt. That there's like the coloring streaks on it. And this is like a gray blue. But back here it is more true color. It is pretty. I don't exactly know, like maybe if that one was Demogorgon, this would be the upside down. I want badly for like everyone that it comes out with now to be hopper. But, and if it had been just like browns, I would definitely have seen hopper. I feel like there's too much gray black in here, like even to get away with like coffee, because gray, black, and brown, I don't know. I don't think so personally. If you guys do, let me know what you think, because I have found great value in a lot of your opinions and suggestions. So let me know, would you please, what you think. And we, of course, well, that was my hair in there. That's not part of it. I mean, it probably will be once I crochet, but not that much of it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I am going to put it away. Maybe like the dark side of hopper, but that's odd. I just want it to be hopper, so like hopper themed so bad. So like one of these other 3, you have got to be hopper themed. You've got to be. Anyway, I love my shirt too. I'll just finish the video like this. No, that's weird. I won't, but I do love it a lot. Yeah, so thank you for joining me. I'm super excited that we're over 3,000. I've been putting away, I mentioned this yesterday too, I've been putting like a bunch of Happy Mail packages together, but I do plan to have a giveaway to celebrate the 3,000. Not in this video, but coming up. What I want to do is get everybody's stuff to them that I intend to get to them, and then do a giveaway. At least get them like mailed out, so there's not like 50,000 boxes sitting around the house. But I do plan to have one anyway. So with that in mind, I am going to let you guys go for now, so we don't have to put an extra part to the video. But thank you so much for joining me. If you are inclined and haven't yet, please hit subscribe down below. I think you'll like the content on the channel. I have some yarn hauls coming up. I have some tutorials coming up. Yeah, otherwise I will see you guys tomorrow. As always, I love you guys. Bye. Or I'm still here.